Hey guys, and we are on Painkiller Chapter 3 Train Station. Now, this level is much more difficult than the previous levels. This is where the game really starts to get challenging. Now, the enemies you see here are called Sado Commandos. They attack much like the Hellbikers in the prison level with automatic weapons. So you really want to be careful when approaching them because you literally have a split second to kill them before they will start attacking you. Let's put it that way. Anyways, yes, you want to shoot those guys with the stakes and shoot those guys with the grenades because it's difficult to really get a good shot on them with any other weapon because they are usually covered by the... I don't even know what they are, but they're usually covered by those two wall things. Anyways, usually these guys will die with the explosion of those barrels, but this time they didn't, so I had to kill them myself, so... But yeah, you want to shoot those barrels and kill them. If you don't kill them, then you'll have to kill them in the normal way. These guys can be killed easily with the Stakegun using what I like to call quick covering, if that makes sense. In the sense that you want to keep covering so that, like, coming in and out of cover and shooting pot shots. That's basically what you want to do, really. Anyways, basically you want to just kill everyone very quickly here. Just spam the fuck out of the shotgun because the enemies are pretty much in a line and it's easy to kill them because they're pretty close by. But this guy is a bit tricky because he's covering behind the vending machine, and for some reason when you shoot the vending machine it doesn't deal any damage to him, so it's a bit weird like that. But anyways, once you beat him, I'm checking to see if he's dropped any mines, because Sado Commandos can occasionally drop mines, and they can be pretty nasty, so you want to avoid them. Anyways, there's health there if you need it. I probably don't need that health right now, but there's also some Electrodriver ammo and some shotgun ammo. Now, here we have arguably one of the most powerful weapons in video game history, the rocket launcher Chaingun combo. This weapon can do pretty much anything, but as it stands, this weapon is only good at dealing with these guys, these skeleton soldiers, simply because we don't have much chain-gun ammo, but we have plenty of rocket launcher ammo. So basically what the rocket launcher is it's pretty much the same thing as the grenade launcher, but it explodes on impact, so it's very useful and you want to use it to kill these guys. These guys are skeleton soldiers. They are basically, I don't know, like World War I soldiers that have fallen and gone into purgatory because they killed a lot of people, I guess. That's pretty much all I can think of, really. That's the only assumption I can really make. But pretty much every single enemy in Chapter 3 has something to do with the military. Like, they're all connected to the military and they've done committed war crimes or something like that. I don't really know. But that's pretty much my presumption of the enemies of these levels. This is kind of like a callback to World War I or something. I'm not actually sure because apparently the train station is set in Germany, which is kind of weird. But in a way, that kind of makes sense because Germans were going into World War I suppose. I don't know if it might be Germany or it might be Poland. I'm not sure, but there are some soldiers here, so I assume it's Germany. But yeah, that's basically what's going on, and they're leaving for the front. So they're armed with bayonets, and they're pretty dangerous, so you want to deal with them. The bayonets deal a lot of damage when you are up close to them, so you want to avoid the bayonets. But they also can shoot you. Now, they generally don't shoot that often, but when they do, it's kind of annoying, so you want to avoid getting shot by bunny hopping around. That's why you see me bunny hopping around manically, because it's pretty chaotic. There's tons of them, and you want to avoid them. But unlike the melee enemies from other levels, these enemies are not to be messed with. These enemies are just as dangerous, if not more, than the Sado Commandos, because they're all bunched up together and they deal a fuck ton of damage with melee, where the Sado Commandos you can usually kill them with the shotgun. It's not really advised to get too close to these guys because of their bayonets. So really you want to use the rocket launcher for these guys. And the Sado Commandos are best to be dealt with the shotgun or the Stakegun. And there was another enemy, I'll cover that enemy later, but until then, we're just needing to kill these guys, and there's tons of them. They'll come from pretty much everywhere. They'll come from basically the staircase we came from. Like it says welcome to Zurich. I don't know if that, I don't know if it is. Welcome to, yeah, it's welcome to Zurich. So basically this train station is in Zurich. I don't actually think, I think that might be Poland actually, I'm not sure. But I don't know, like, I think these soldiers are still based off German soldiers, if I can recall. I don't know. Maybe it's because the German soldiers... I'm not actually good with geography. I don't know if Zurich is even in Poland. I'm not actually sure, but wherever it is, I think the German soldiers are basically come here to kill everyone or something. And you just happen to be here, you have a rocket launcher, and you're going to kill everything. But, yeah, there's the Chaingun. I thought I'd deal with him with the Chaingun just to show it off. There won't be much chain gunning in this level because there isn't much chain gun ammo to go around. Like, it's mainly rocket launchers, shotguns, pretty much every weapon we have except the chain gun pretty much will be using this level. This level will require a bit of everything. It really is a tough, brutal level, and you are going to see why in a minute. Like, from this point onwards, anything can happen. Like, basically what I've shown you is how to effectively deal with the first section of this level without taking any damage, but the next section is really brutal. It really is brutal, and you are going to have a hard time if you're playing this on Trauma or Nightmare, because on Nightmare difficulty there's a tarot card condition which requires you to not collect any souls. Now, every enemy you kill drops souls, and if you accidentally pick up one soul, you fail the tarot card condition. So, yeah, this level is kind of one of the hardest levels in the game. I would definitely argue that. It's really tough. The tarot card condition is tough, and Trauma is tough. Everything about this level is tough. And if you're playing this level on Nightmare, you pretty much are playing it on Trauma, except from the fact that the enemies don't deal as much damage as they do in Trauma. So, yeah, that's the thing, you see. Plus, I'm not using tarot cards, which makes this even more horrific to fight in. So, yeah, it's a difficult level to fight in, this level, because there's just tons and tons of enemies. There's just, yes, you have the rocket launcher, but the game really makes up for it by adding huge numbers of powerful enemies. Now, yeah, I'm getting desperate and I'm just blowing myself up to kill anything, because you really have to kill these guys quickly, otherwise they'll swarm you, and you really don't want that to happen. Because skeleton soldiers, they're glass cannons, pretty much, that's what they are. Whereas the Sado Commandos, they can take a bit more of a punch, really, but there are other things that they can do as well. Like the Sado Commandos, like I say, they can shoot, they can drop mines, and the skeleton soldiers, they can throw gas grenades, as you can see here. That's a gas grenade, and you want to stay away from those because they're not good. Let's put it that way, they're not very nice. So yeah, just basically get them all into large heaps. This is basically what the rest of Painkiller is all about from this point onwards, pretty much. Once you get the rocket launcher, you're going to be dealing with a lot of enemy waves, like a lot of enemy hordes. This is where the game really gets serious, because there's going to be tons of enemies, and this is just the beginning. Like, this is where Painkiller really starts getting, like, this is where Painkiller really begins, this level. This is where the challenge really starts to hit you. Like, there are a few things that you can learn from this level, like quick covering, and you'll probably need to be able to do that in certain situations if you're playing on Trauma, because, yeah, this level is very tricky, and I found that a lot of the enemies in this level like to camp around. They're kind of cowardly, and it's kind of annoying. Like, those two Sado Commandos stood on the banister, or not banister, stood on the railings, aren't the easiest to hit, because they're not in an easy position to hit with the rocket launcher, and, well, it's just difficult to hit them, because they like to stay on, like, high areas, like high perched areas, so that they can shoot you from above, which can kind of screw you over if you're not careful. But yeah, you can see how much damage I've taken already. That's nearly half my health gone already, and we've only just begun the level. I'd say we're kind of halfway through the level, but kind of not. We're kind of just before the halfway mark of this level. It really is that brutal. Like, now we are in the halfway mark of this level because the level just gets harder and harder from here on out. Now, there are a few healing items, as you have seen before. You should have seen the health orbs. You don't want to grab them straight away, you want to save them for later. Now, I'm getting the Electrodriver out for this next section, and you're going to see why. Now, I'm going to show you where the other health power-up is. It's just up here. There's an armor here if you want to grab it. There's an ammo crate, and there's two electro ammo boxes, and a general ammo box. You want to grab them all, but you don't want to grab the health pickup. You want to keep that for later, because you really need health in this level. I cannot stress it enough. You do not want to waste those health orbs, especially if you're playing on trauma. Well, it doesn't matter anyways, because you can't really heal up, because you can't get souls to get the turret card. So yeah, that's the Electrodriver's combo that I spoke of in Snowbridge. It's very powerful, and it's great at dealing with enemies close up, and obviously you can use the regular Electro as well. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do there. Ow, just got hit by a grenade there. But yeah, these enemies up here are called Maso Commandos. These guys are basically invincible, so to defeat them you have to shoot their little grenade launcher cannon thing, and doing that will blow them up. Alternatively, and I think this is the most effective way of dealing with them, you can shoot them with the freezer to kill them instantly. So that's another way of dealing with them if you're struggling. These guys are actually the easiest enemies in this level, but they will pose a threat in later levels because they kind of change a little bit. But yeah, that's basically the gist of this level. Those are pretty much all the enemies, pretty much. But yeah, the Electrodriver, as you can see, the reason why I used it is because the rocket launcher, like, it's a very closed-in area, is that top area, so I wanted to use something that was more up close and personal, and I was going to get hit anyway, so I wanted to minimize the damage that I was going to receive there. And yeah, it's very difficult not to get hit in this level. You are going to get hit, it's that simple, because the automatic weapons are pretty devastating. But yes, I'm kind of quick covering here, but failing to do so because I'm getting shot at. But yeah, this is the canteen area. There's a lot of enemies. There's a few Maso Commandos that you might want to watch out for. But yeah, they shoot grenades, which can be annoying, as you've seen. But in a way, the grenades deal just about the same amount of damage as a Sado Commando can do, really. They deal about the same amount of damage as a bayonet. Well, when I say a Sado Commando, like, if you stay in front of a Sado Commando long enough. Like, let's put it this way, if you're going to get hit by a Maso Commando, then if you were hit by a Sado Commando, you'd receive more damage than you would if you were getting hit by a Maso. Because if you are stood still long enough to be hit by a Sado Commando, you're going to receive a fuck ton of damage. Whereas a Maso Commando, you're only going to get hit once. The thing about Maso Commandos that makes them easy is that you can hesitate. You can take your time to aim your shot, and then you can, yeah, as you can see, I used the freezer there, and then you can blow them up. Whereas the Sado Commandos, you really need to hit first, like shoot first, ask questions later. Just like the, kind of like the Hellbikers, they're very much the same thing. Yeah, that's one of the mines that I was talking about. Like, you want to shoot them with the Painkiller so that they don't blow up. Yeah, the Painkiller you probably won't find much use of in this level. That's one of the few weapons that you don't really use in this level because there's just too many enemies. Now, don't worry, there will be some use for the Painkiller later, but just not in this level. Like, the enemies all have automatic weapons, and yeah, the Painkiller isn't so useful in this level. It really isn't. Like, you want to use the Stakegun to deal with these guys, you want to use the shotguns for certain encounters, and you want to use the rocket launcher in the big open areas. But yeah, this is all about the Stakegun right here. Just staking these guys, and my staking skills still haven't improved, so you get to watch me take forever to stake them. But yeah, another thing that I want to mention is there's a secret up there, but I failed to get it, and you're going to see me failing. Like, but first I just need to kill everybody in this area, and yeah, they're all dead. But I already took the checkpoint, so there's no checkpoint. But yeah, basically what you need to do is jump on top of here. I actually got this at one point, so, but like, I didn't get it this time. But you want to jump on top of there and then jump backwards to jump on that little plank there, but I keep missing and failing. And then I make a huge mistake, and you're going to see what I do. It's pretty funny. But yeah, this is why I don't want to do all the platforming secrets, because this is basically what it is. It's basically me failing to get this secret, which I do way too often, as you can see here. Yeah, pretty much. It's not easy. And eventually I'm going to give up. I'm not sure when I'm going to give up, but yeah, eventually I think, why don't I move it with the Painkiller slightly? And that was a big mistake, because I realised, oh, well, you're going to see in a minute. Yeah, I could cut this out, but since I'm already doing the commentary right now, yeah, this is basically what I do, and it blows me up. Just what I needed in this level. Explosive damage, but yeah, I wanted to show that. So, yeah, I didn't bother cutting it out. But yeah, it's funny how exploding machines can damage you, but it can't damage the enemy, which is kind of weird. But I suppose they have some explosive resistance, but still, if you shoot barrels, it kills them, so yeah. Speaking of barrels, these guys will drop barrels on top of you, and you want to kill them with the freezer before you even go any further into that room, because they will shoot you, well, shoot you when you're not looking at them, so you want to hit those guys out first, before you even take one step into this huge room filled with hordes and hordes of skeleton soldiers, like. And yes, there really are hordes of them, there's tons of them. As you can see, my health is very low, like dangerously low at this point, so I really want to be careful because there's just tons of these guys, and it's all about the rocket launcher at this point onwards. You just blow them all up and kill them very quickly. Now, they all spawn in one spot, so it's pretty easy to take them out in one shot of the rocket if you are good enough, but unfortunately I screw up because, well, my momentum kind of fucked up, so I ended up just shooting randomly. And then they all shoot around, like spawn around you, and you want to shoot a few of them with the shotgun and then go to the back and finish the rest off with the rocket launcher. Yeah, it's pretty hectic. But yes, that is pretty much one of the tougher areas, but the next area is arguably the toughest area in the game, and there's going to be quite a lot of enemies in this next area, and they are in a very good position, so you really want to be careful in this next area as it's really tough. Now, first of all, let's pick up the health because we really need it right now. It's pretty important that you get this health right now because the next area is pretty tough, so we want to go down and get to this next area, and it's down here. Now, this is where quick covering will become very important. As you can see, there's tons and tons of Sado commandos everywhere you look. They are literally all over the place. You do not want to walk out into this area. This is probably one of the few times that you want to stay in cover because there's tons of enemies. But yeah, you want to shoot that Maso Commando cannon there, blow him up. And he's not even the biggest threat. The biggest threat are the Sado commandos. As you can see, I'm just using the Stakegun and trying to hit everybody. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do, but it beats walking in there and getting absolutely pummeled by everyone. Yeah, there's a few skeleton soldiers come in, you can shoot them with the rocket launcher. I'm shooting these guys with just shotgun, but the rocket launcher is arguably the most effective way of dealing with them. And yeah, basically this is just going to be stake sniping for the most part, because I'm going to stay away from all this. This is pretty deadly stuff right here. So yeah, you get to use a bit of everything in this level, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I got that guy. Yeah, I'm not brilliant with the Stakegun at all, but I really have to use it. I really got no choice here because these guys are really tough. As you can see, I keep taking damage from their freaking, I don't know, submachine guns. But yeah, I just bring in the big guns because we have a freaking rocket launcher and we might as well use it because, yeah, you're going to need to use this weapon quite often in this level and the next few levels as well. It's very powerful, but you don't want to completely rely on it because in certain situations where the rocket launcher isn't that useful, like in closed in areas, you want to use the shotgun as it's more effective and less dangerous. Well, not that it's more effective, but it's less dangerous to use. As for the Chaingun, well, the Chaingun is actually the weakest weapon in Painkiller in terms of raw damage, but the fire rate of the Chaingun is pretty insane, so you can really stagger enemies quite well with the Chaingun, but in terms of actual damage output, it's not that great, because it takes a few shots to kill them, and it costs a lot of ammo to kill them. So, ultimately the Chaingun is best used against bosses and specific enemies, which, like, you'll use it, but just not as often as you would think you would use it. You'll mainly spend most of your time using the rocket launcher, but still, the Chaingun is still pretty deadly. It is extremely deadly, in fact. It's very fast, and it can kill enemies very quickly, but it's just a bit overkill for like most enemies in this game, and you're better off just using the shotgun in those situations, as it's more effective as it one-shots certain enemies when up close. Similar with Stakegun, whereas the Chaingun technically doesn't one-shot enemies. And the Chaingun's better against enemies that don't, like, you can't freeze with the freeze gun, and that pretty much have tons of health. And there are enemies in the game that are like that, but there aren't too many of them, so really the Chaingun is one of those weapons that you'll pull out when you really need to, or when you're using the rocket launcher and you need a sidearm quickly and you don't want to pull out another weapon. The Chaingun will sort that problem for you. But ultimately it's mostly used for boss fights, so that's what you'll be using the Chaingun for. It's really useful still, it's just that it consumes a lot of ammo and it doesn't deal much damage for the ammo cost. But it's very good at staggering enemies, and it's still very effective at killing things. Like, it is, while it might not be the most powerful weapon, it is quite possibly one of the most useful weapons, you could say, as its fire rate is just insane, and it's still very strong for its fire rate. It's not one of those weapons that's got a huge fire rate but isn't very strong. I mean, this is Painkiller we're talking about. All the weapons are stronger than Painkiller, including the shotgun, but the Chaingun is the weakest just simply because, well, balancing. Like the shotgun kills in one hit. Most weapons kill in one hit, whereas it takes about, I'd say 2 to 3 presses. Like, if you were to just tap the button for the Chaingun, it would probably take 2 or 3 taps to kill them. But that would consume a lot of ammo in the process, so yeah, that's something to consider. But it's still very effective, and it can still kill very quickly, but it's just that there's more reliable methods, like this, for example. As you can see there. You can't go wrong with the Electrodriver. The Electrodriver costs a lot less ammo for the damage that you deal, and that's where the Electrodriver comes in handy over the Chaingun. It deals a lot of damage per shot, and I think it takes about 3 to 4 hits with the Electrodriver usually, whereas it costs a lot more ammo with the Chaingun. So the Chaingun's one of those weapons that you use as a last resort, as it's one of those weapons that's incredibly useful, and when you account for its fire rate, and it's not bad damage, it's decent damage, so it's just the weakest, but it's got the fire rate is so fast that it's actually kind of the strongest weapon when you account for the fire rate. Even though it deals low damage per shot, the fire rate is insane, so you end up dealing a foot ton of damage. It's just that you won't be one-shotting enemies, so it's not always the most effective, but it's still very effective in those situations. Anyways, the next area, just use the Electrodriver, use the combo, kill everything. The Electrodriver is the best weapon for this area because it's a very closed-in area. When you are in a closed-in area, you don't want to use the rocket launcher, so you want to use something that's more close to mid-range, so you can keep out of the way, deal a lot of damage, and kill large groups of enemies quickly, and that's exactly what the Electrodriver can do. But yeah, as you could see before as well, when I got the secret, I was kind of talking about the Chaingun a lot, but yeah, the secret that I got was a super health. Now, getting that secret, what I did was a maneuver which involved Painkiller jumping. Now, it's a very difficult maneuver, but basically it requires you to be on a tiny object, and you basically shoot the Painkiller to lift yourself up with it. It's an odd kind of platforming that Painkiller uses, so yeah. But yeah, this level, I just wanted to get through it quickly because it's tough, but yeah, we're done with this level. Sorry that I was struggling to keep up with the speed of this level in my commentary, but we're finally done with this level, and we can go on to the next level. So see you guys.